Alright, man. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Where's my sound at? Where's my sound at? I'm hearing. Things ain't sounding too good for one of my favorite female rappers to come out of my city. She had took a stance, and I know that before I watch this video, and this video is pretty much gonna be dedicated to this Nicki Minaj America First appearance. I am very curious on why people now decide to disown her. I have to hear the message that she speaks of. Did she actually say anything wrong? Or are everybody still brainwashed? Do people hear what they want to hear? Did she say something really outlandish? I have to know this. I have to know this. Are y'all ready to stand by the people that said, Nicki Minaj, I'ma unfollow you, I'm not gonna support you no more? I gotta say, a lot of y'all seem fake. Very fake. Very fake. I know she had problems with what was going on with the Christians in Nigeria. I knew she had issues with what was going on with that. I knew she had issues. I knew she was bothered by the things that was happening in Nigeria with the Christians. She is Christian. She partakes in that religion. She probably grew up Christian. So as most of us black people in America, we have grown up under the foundation of Christianity. This is not opinion. This is a fact. At least I could speak from every person I have touched or talked to. Not touched in that way. Pause. Whoa. But that I came in contact with. That's what I mean. In America, we grew up, pledge allegiance to the flag, Jesus, God, go to church every Sunday, at least for your foundation of your childhood, right? At least for the foundation of your childhood. I can't be wrong about that. I know I'm not off about that. So when I see or hear that Nicki Minaj went to a Turning Point event, which I've never heard of Turning Point being racist in any way, right? This is my monologue before I start the video. I never heard of them being racist in any way. But it's like, not even but. What are people seeing that I don't see? Are people really that blind to the propaganda which seems to be working? If you deal with Trump in any type of way, if you have an opinion about certain groups that is meant to critique in order to raise their level, in order to upgrade them, in order to see a different perspective that may help those people get a foot up in the right part of history, financially, spiritually. But it just seems like we keep being mad about silly things that just because that person looks different than you can't take their advice. You've been so brainwashed by victimhood. Oh, white man did this, white man did that. Every day that we wake up, we got a chance to grind and get it. We got a chance to listen, hear people out, debate, talk about it. Really listen. Really listen to understand, learn, and then rebuttal instead of just rebuttaling. People hear what they want to hear. Literally, our these sounds that come from outside of our heads. The sounds that come from outside of our heads. Somebody could be talking sound into our ears, whether it's from the phone, the computer, whatever media it is, right? We could take all those sounds we hear and we could just encrypt them, change them up, make them sound like something we want to hear, make it sound like something we don't want to hear, because we got a point to prove, a narrative, and we gotta be the ones that was correct at the end of the debate. That's basically gonna be this whole point of this episode of Think Pieces and Conversations. Now I may be skipping some things because this is my first time watching the whole America Fest. I may not stay too long on it, but this episode is dedicated to it. So we're gonna take as much time, and if I keep having talking points, we gonna just keep going with it. We gonna talk about it. We gonna discuss it. Where is this stuff at?
Here, let's listen in. This one is for the boys in the polos, entrepreneurs against the. All right, will not win. Enjoy life.
For love you guys.
Okay, I want you guys to know this, right?
So we're just gonna dive right into this.
I want you guys to know this. Nicki Minaj is 40 years old, right? She came to an event. This is how I want you guys to look at PR. You're not gonna understand PR unless you was in the game, seeing behind the scenes of that, what PR is. Which, now that I think about it, my history was filled with a lot of lessons like this. I was a part of, or still is a part of, the music industry, and I seen things from up close. There was a period of time where I seen things from a closer point of view. When you doing PR, she is dressed conservatively, right? Or at least more conservatively than she's ever dressed. She's here to talk about what's going on with the Christians in Nigeria. I assume America first, but Christians and that religion is a part of America. It's a part of the DNA of America. Let's hear what she got to say.
You had some fun words for Governor Newsom. I have to read these tweets because they're amazing and they are so funny. Okay, first one. We'll do this
I
one.
know about these tweets. We can see
Normal
this.
adults wake up and think they want to see healthy, safe.
Oh yeah.
One more.
Actually, no.
We'll do.
Nah, this is very important. This is
Love you
very
guys.
important.
We'll do this one. Unless you want to read it in your own voice, I think it'd be really great. Okay.
Oh, Gavy Poo, it only gets worse from here for you, buddy. It's the end of the road for you, my love. Get on the nearest jet ski and let that beautiful hair blow in the wind. It'll make you happier than this race that you will not win. Enjoy life. Peace.
Yo, you know what's the scariest thing about that? The scariest thing about that, right? She spoke about Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, I talk about this at work. I talk about this with my confidants when we speak about the election. I said, yo, even though in an idealistic world where everybody had common sense, where everybody just had common sense, that I would just be like, yo, Gavin Newsom is no chance he could win. In my idealistic earth that I envision, there will be a 0% chance that Gavin Newsom would win. But that's not how politics work. That's not how the agenda is. And the brainwashing of your common sense, the dilution of your common sense. The pandemic was simply to see how strong your common sense was. The election proved that the common sense was weak, but the recovery from that pandemic proved that common sense was actually still strong and still here. But that's not my point. She spoke on Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is the scariest candidate to go up against the Republicans in 2028. This is a fact. This is not opinion. And I'm gonna base it off a couple things, right? You got this slick-haired, he seems tall on camera, well-spoken, right? Well-spoken, a master of double speak, not devil speak, double speak. A master of double speak, a master of politician talk, a master of saying a whole lot of nothing that makes it sound like something because you got hand gestures and you say key words, you say buzzwords. When it comes to what you got to do or what you are doing to better your town, which is California for Gavin Newsom. What are you doing to better your town? You guys, you made your people so brainwashed. Your state is so brainwashed with being leftists and liberals instead of being independent and hearing both sides out and coming to your own real conclusion with a lot more objectivity. You have signed yourself up for a cult, my friends. Just because you vote Republican, that don't mean you're a MAGA, right? But the brainwashing and the propaganda has worked so well that if you go and dare yourself to put your name on a ticket voting for a Republican, for decades, generations, we've been brainwashed to go that way because we see Al Sharpton, what's his name, man? The other guy, man, whoever the other guy is. We see these guys being politicians. We see these guys at every rally, or not rally, every protest that gets nothing accomplished. But for the optics, it works for y'all, and y'all keep eating it up. When your friends and family felt that Trump man bad, orange man bad, you capitulated. You stopped using your common sense. You stopped using your brain. You started using your feelings and how those feelings of the people that told you Trump man bad, orange man bad, those feelings that you have ingested them into your soul. You have poisoned your own mind. You have diseased your own mind into people pleasing. You no longer, everything that somebody may say that makes sense, that is against your beliefs, just because you think he's something that he's actually not. It makes your ears hear things. It makes your eyes see things that you don't even see. Because when the information gets in your head, Trump did this good thing. No, he actually meant to do this good thing because he don't want you guys. He's just trying to be in good graces with y'all. He goes in good graces with some other people. It's like, oh, yeah, of course he's in good graces because that's the other people. He's with them. He looks like them, don't you see? Just because he looks like them, that means he's bad, because everybody that we been brainwashed to think that looks like them is bad. Because we've been told this. They've embedded what we have gone through in our heads for so long, and then the people that they've chose to give voices to make us to never forget that we were slaves. And then we should always have that slave mentality of master is bigger than me. Master, we can't get it by ourselves. We can't grind. We can't work hard. We can't really figure this shit out. But enough of that rant. Whew, enough of that rant. Let's get back to this. It's gonna be a long video.
Okay. One more.
Why not? Imagine being the guy running on wanting to see trans kids. Haha, not even a trans adult would run on that. No.
Hold on. I want y'all to hear that again. I want you to hear it slow, and I want you to hear it without your biases. I already know some minds heard what they wanted to hear already. Because they heard the buzzwords, they heard the T word, they heard trans. They heard trans. They heard that. They heard the buzzword. If the next words or words say something negative or of a negative connotation, that is going to push my bias to what I already think about trans. You see, you understand how they get you and how they set you up. They hit you with words and terms that you need to be mad at. So when somebody else says something against it, you have already trained them to look at it negatively. Let's go back again.
Trans kids. Imagine being the guy running on wanting to see trans kids. Haha, not even a trans adult would run on that.
Imagine a guy wanting to run on wanting to see trans kids. Now, this is a very delicate subject. She said, haha. Person hearing that is hearing trans and then her laughing. Even though she's saying, Gavin Newsom, you're not going to win off of, you are not going to win off of saying you want to see more trans kids. It's not humanely possible for you to win off that. It's not humanely possible. This is objectively speaking. Objective. Look at 2024. That's self-explanatory. That's self-explanatory. If you don't got a brain, go and find you one to understand that. Let's keep it going.
Normal adults wake up and think they want to see healthy, safe, happy kids. Not Gav, the Gav nots. Gav not in, Gav out. Send in the next guy, I'm bored.
Now, this is the thing about why there's such a shift in the black community when it's coming to politics. There is a overwhelming majority of us, the ones that they say are black, that look like us, whatever they categorize us in the census. They say, yo, because Barack Obama was a Democrat, he placed his flag into being a Democrat. He planted his flag there. And his flag was made very sturdy because of the groundwork of an Al Sharpton, the groundwork of is it Jesse? Who was the other guy, man? It don't even matter. The groundwork of these rappers, these people, when they say they keep voting Democrat, Bill Clinton, him playing the saxophone, all that played into the brainwashing of every black in America to vote one way at 93%. At 93% or 92%, whatever the number is. Those foundations have poisoned our brains, and only a few of us, a select few of us, is understanding that. You got to look at this thing so objective because it is extremely important of knowing your politics in your hood, your neighborhoods, your city, your state. your country. Your entire country could go out the door because of one wrong person sitting at the helm, the highest seat in the land, the presidency. Your city could go out of whack because you voted in poison at the pinnacle of your city, the leader of your city, the leaders of your city, the governors and mayor of your city. This is how serious politics is. How I just explained that. This is how serious politics is. That is how serious politics is, what I just explained. It's that serious. Your whole entire society can be much different. There can be terminologies being used that a previous generation have never used. Previous generations wasn't using pronouns to describe ourselves as a mandatory thing. We wasn't taught not to say Pledge of Allegiance when we was in classrooms every morning that first period. We wasn't a part of that generation, but all it takes is one cycle of bad leaders, one cycle of bad leaders in the city, in the nation, in your household. All it takes is one cycle, however long that could be. Let's say 16, 20 years, 10 years maybe. One cycle, one generation, 10 years, 12 years. Things would be so much different. You wondering, yo, we used to do this, say this, be more uncensored. That's not the reality of the situation. All it took was a couple bad apples to poison the eyes of men and women. And then it took the foundations of those bad apples at a smaller level to be placed and used throughout history in a consistent rate. And then there were peaks, COVID, peaks, Obama, peaks happening, Bill Clinton, Epstein, peaks happening that people just did not think about. They didn't ponder on what was going on. They didn't understand. They didn't get it because they didn't care. You didn't have TikTok. You didn't have Instagram. You didn't have somebody constantly giving their opinion on what you deem as important, what works for you, what's important to you, what's important to your family, what you actually care about. Is it popular? Is it not? Kids at school got onto things back in our day or my day, sounding like an aged person. We don't get old, we age. We age. Feel me? So we going through this, we going through these things, right? I totally forgot what I was gonna say. We going through life, and we just seeing things a certain way. We seeing things way different. We seeing things more objectively. When we was at school, back to what I was saying, when we was at school, the way that things got popular is that things got popular. Yeah, we had phones, but we wasn't constantly being told what was hot every single day by an algorithm. The algorithm is fairly new. We go on these sites, we know people. We only can make these sites lit. The MySpace, the Facebook, in the early days. The only way we can make our own pages lit is that we had to actually meet people. We actually had to figure things out. We actually had to network. We actually had to go outside. We actually had to get into a fight. We actually had to like this girl. We actually had to go speak, go walk around, go enjoy outside the light. We wasn't being constantly influenced by this phone. Every single app is influencing you every day. And if you're a kid that never went through those times of my generation and before, of having a way less capable phone and a lot less things to do in idle mode, sitting on the phone. Yes, we have video games. I was one of them kids that was playing video games all day. But I also seen and enjoyed outside when I was outside. That was a part of my foundation. I understood and loved how that felt. But I just loved the game a little bit more. You understand? So you just gotta use your brain, man. Use your brain.
So I'm just gonna let you riff. Like, I want you to say whatever you want to say to Mr. Newsom.
Dear Newscom, we don't have a problem cleaning up the scum if we have to. Please tread lightly.
Did you know that you can have permanent teeth in
I don't know
just
what she
24
meant by
hours?
that.
That's right. Only 24 hours and you're...
I don't know what she meant by that, but anybody could interpret that the wrong way. But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep it pushing.
I don't know if he even knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to,
I think she's talking about Trump.
well, Gavy Poo.
So with regard to the current administration, what has been maybe the biggest surprise for you, or something that you just really has been put on your heart that you've learned about our president and our vice president?
Well, I have the utmost respect and admiration for our president.
That's a cosign. She has co-signed the president. She said she has admiration for the ticket, the administration, and the president. You pick a side. Listen. You need to pick a side. There is a side. There's many. It's not just two sides. Don't be. There is the objective side, and the other two sides are the biases for the left or the right. Those are the sides. Okay? But a lot of people want to play on my side, the independent side, and always play the fence. Because you playing independent, that don't mean you playing the fence, because in your brain you see left, right, and then middle being independent. So that means playing the fence. That don't mean playing the fence. That means being completely objective. My ideal percentage for the left and right for America, say if America is made up of Democrats, Republicans, Independents, the ideal number, I think, for the least amount of corruption in the government is 50% independent. 50% of the country needs to be independent. 50%. Before you say, oh my God, oh, that sounds so crazy. And the 25 for Democrat and Republican, those need to be only a quarter, only 25%. Only 25%. The majority of the city is independent. The United States should be independent, because the left and the right have in optics wise, they both have become cults, but only one is acknowledging that there is a cult in existence, that they're the cult. They're both saying that they're not the cult. They're both saying that the other is the cult. The right has just caught on that the left is a cult. The right has just caught on to that. The things have been reversed. The manipulation is made to put things in reverse. That's what the propaganda was. The Republicans back in the day was the ones that was pushing for the civil rights, not the Democrats. They're not the ones that push for civil rights. The Republicans was the ones that pushed for ending slavery. But the reverse is the manipulation that has been used. It's been used before and it's being used again. Both sides have completely switched in how they looked at each other. in perspective of each other. One plays the gaslight of, no, we're not the cult, they're the cult, they're the Nazis, they're the racists, they're the authoritarianisms, the authoritarians, right? But the left is the ones that's doing the authoritarian things, the police state things, the cancellation of your social media, cancel culture. They're the inventors of that. But they have somehow shifted the optics towards the Republicans, which is crazy. And the people, the normal eye doesn't see this. The normal ear doesn't hear this. They're just completely just smitten by what's going on, by what they keep seeing on the news, what their friends keep telling them, what is popularly known, what is trending. It's trending to say Trump is racist. That is trending. People just say that. People don't know nothing about politics. And when something happens, they just blame Trump just because it's cool to blame Trump. The world knows nothing about what's important. The world knows about what's important to them. And they're lazy. So the thing that's important to them, they're not gonna really deep dive and research if they're lazy and don't want to. It feels good to just go with the crowd, to just go with the sheep, to not be the outcast. The outcasts are the strongest people. The strongest minds belong in the outcasts. You understand? I think this was the clip that got her in trouble. I think this was the clip. I remember seeing certain things, like this was the main thing talking about trans. Listen, speaking of trans, right? When did we become part of the LGBTQ team? I thought LGBTQ, maybe I'm wrong. I thought that LGBTQ meant lesbian, gay, bisexual, and whatever the rest of the alphabets are, right? I didn't know that the B in LGB meant black. Like, I know that there's black lesbians, there's black gay people, there's black trans people. Like, but when did we actually become everybody within the black community? When did we all say we're a part of that organization? Like, we're in the letters. Like, I'm confused. Like, I'm really confused. Like, that's the only confusing part. Like, they have manipulated the community so well into believing that slavery is the exact same thing as 372 years of slavery, or however long it was, the lashings, the beatings, the being used, the main thing being used as manpower to get the yard, get the farms, pick the cotton, you know, do the things we were doing. They made us believe that our struggle that our ancestors had is the same exact struggle that the LGBTQ plus community have. It's fair to say that the LGBTQ plus community has a lot of influence in a lot of organizations. That's very objective to say. Music industry, movie industry. But here's the caveat. The T's are the least represented people in the United States. There is a very one digit small percentage of people in the United States that are trans. And look how the propaganda worked again. They made the trans become the most protected. You see what I'm saying? So blacks in media, they are the most protected. You can't say the N-word towards them. They only could say it to themselves. You can't talk about them doing all the killings in Chicago. You can't talk about that. That's racist. You can't talk about it. They could talk about that. You can't talk about that. You can't do it. The reverse psychology has been helping the propaganda left for a very long time. So you just gotta understand this. It's not the messenger, it's the message. Let's see what else she gotta say. I know she's talking about Nigeria. Sorry, I've been stuttering a lot this episode. I am tired, but we working. We here. We working and we here.
He has, I don't know if he even knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys and to win and to do it with your head held high and your integrity intact. He's from Queens, New York, like.
If any liberal has come into the chat, if any liberal has come into the comment section, please, I want you to rewind this section of her talking, right? I want you to rewind this section of her talking, and I want you to tell me, what did she say wrong right there? And we're gonna rewind it right now.
Me, and to do it, a bad guy that there's knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys. And
okay, so lefties, it's easy to show that, yo, you're the bad guys. Is she talking about us? Is she talking about us liberals? Is she talking about us Democrats? That's what the Democrats are probably saying. No. If you noticed that the previous conversation before this, I know that I was talking a very long time. She talked about the Nigerians. She talked about, or she's alluding to the Nigerians in Africa. She ain't said it yet, but she is alluding to that. She admired who Trump is and who he represents and what he represents. So beating the bad guys is meaning doing justice or serving justice to the people of Nigeria that are Christians by harming the enemy that's out there. That's an objective look at that. That's a independent look at that, right? And I also stated what bad and how the liberals could see it. You see how I made both those things make sense? Let's get it.
To win and to do it with your head held high and your integrity intact. He's from Queens, New York, like me. So, but what it's shown me personally is sometimes, you know, even in the worst feeling times in your life, you think that you're never gonna come back from it, but you do. And our president shows that. He's been through every single thing a person could be through publicly. Having to constantly be lied on. It's not really that funny. Until you are in that person's shoes that's being lied on, you'll never understand what it feels like. That person is a human being. They have a family who has to
Okay, so right here she is comparing and contrasting her life with Trump's and the things that they went through, especially him, what he went through. And that's the thing that made Nicki Minaj relate to Trump, and it drew his influence closer to her mind so that she can understand where he's actually coming from, instead of just listening to the narrative that us black people have been bred to spread. We have been bred to spread. We have been bred to spread this information that we belong to the Democrat Party 100%. We have been lied to. We have been completely lied to. But we have taken on the propaganda and never really double checked and thought about it like, wait, he said something right. He said something that I actually agree with. Hold on. Huh? And then you just start thinking like, hold on, I've been sold a dream. I need to look at things more objectively. That's why we here, is to look at it objectively. You know what I'm saying?
Those lies, and that's not, and it's just not fair. But this administration is full of people with heart and soul, and they make me proud of them. Our vice president, he makes me, well, I love both of them, but they're both powerful men, smart, strong, all of that, but both of them have a very uncanny ability to be someone that you relate to. I can relate to them. When I hear them speak, I know that they're one of us. Like, I know that they're not, don't you guys agree? They haven't lost touch of the world. You know, they're still connected to the world and what's happening in the world, with the younger people and older people, with the richer people and not so rich people. They have the ability to still connect.
To still connect in this day and age is to not sound like a politician. And that is how Trump won the 2024 election. That's how they both did it. They both went to the podcast, the Road podcast on the side. They went to this podcast. Old podcast is doing big, cool. We gonna do it. Young people are watching podcasts. We gonna spend time, go to the podcast, and tap into that audience. They never went back, which it would be hard for a president to just sit at a damn podcast. But with how much and how easy they was doing it during the 2024 election, Trump and Vance, with how easy they made it look, them going to a rally every day. It was a rally for Trump every single day. He did not take no shortcuts. He did not act like a politician. He was really working like he was broke. That's how he was working. You know what I'm saying? So when I say it's just a very hard thing to not admire somebody who went through the mud and then came up out of it, because Nicki Minaj during her career, it wasn't always on the uppity up. She was coming in, she was coming up in an arena with just men dominating in the rap game. She relates to that, to him building his business, going against the mafia, going against this one, going against the government, going against Nicki Minaj, her relating to him, her going against the entire industry, her going against this person, her going against that person, her, them saying that she mean, them saying that she's this and the, she blocking people's monies and all that. She's defending herself. She has to defend herself. Trump constantly defending himself, and that's, oh, we relate to each other. I mean, actually, I'm 40 years old. Nicki Minaj is 40 years old. So she's saying, yo, I'm 40 years old and I've been feeling this way for so long. I ain't getting any younger. Time to press that button. And that's what it is.
Connect and be real and make us feel proud to be American.
So why now have you been involved with speaking about politics? What was kind of the turning point for you? Yeah.
I have something inside of me that's stronger than what's out there. That's right. So when you've had enough, you realize, wait a minute, why do I even care about these people and what they think? Who are they? They don't even know who they are. So I'm not going to back down anymore. I'm not going to back down ever again.
And that's the message that Nicki Minaj wanted to say. That was a message to the Democrat Party. That was a message to the people that the naysayers in the industry talking about this and that, what she did, what she didn't do, her husband. She's not. She's outside. She's ready. She's ready to go. She's ready to play. She's in the streets. There's no more hiding. That's what she's on. She has awoken. This is the real definition of being woke. Not the new definition, the real definition. The real definition is being aware of yourself, your heart, and really understanding that this is what you want to be because this is what you believe in your heart, not because it's something that somebody told you. You're awakened, you're awoken to who you actually are, what you actually align with. You understand? That's the difference. That's the outlook of it. That's the real woke, not the new woke. The new woke is something completely different. The new woke is being very sensitive to every single thing in the world and being super just inviting. Anybody could come to my house. You could eat on my couch. You could just peek in my fridge. You could go. They treat America just like that. You could go in my fridge. You could do this. You could do that. Yeah, you could drive my car. Yeah, you could. You're just letting these people do whatever they want. You got no boundaries or very small boundaries. You're gonna keep doing that. How long is that gonna sustain for you? To be honest, how long is that gonna sustain? That's gonna sustain for before you realize you just collapsing your entire nation. How long can that last? I can't even guess it. I could tell you that we on the brink of something very bad if things don't go the common sense way, the way of actually taking care of the land that we stand in, and the people that came in did the right paperwork, did no crimes, went to school, stayed productive for society. We did that, right? So we should be the ones to be stamped by the land and to take advantage of the land, the ones to take advantage of the land itself. We should have access to the lands. We should have access to buying property. We should have access to having all the benefits that a U.S. citizen should have. Other countries don't do what we do. Other countries, you can't just walk in there and say you're of this country. You can't do that. They'll kick you out. But the narrative is America kind of did it to itself. It sold the American dream. It sold it, put it in a pretty package, and made everybody on earth eat it. The waiting list to get to salvation, which has been branded to be America. Salvation, the promised land, the land of opportunity. America has sold that dream, and it has used it on itself to destroy itself. It was using it to build itself, and that same thing has been reversed, just like I said, to destroy itself. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. This is another episode of Think Pieces and Conversations. I'm out of here.